Well, so let us interrupt to episode 241 here on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. I am Joseph Avil. This will be 242. Had I done an episode yesterday, unfortunately, I was hungover and completely messed up to the point and basically slept through the recording process. And when I had an issue last week streaming, the Wi-Fi wasn't even working anyway on my end, so I said, screw it, I'll take a nap. I really want to do the show that badly, but I was beyond sick. I was hungover. I had a headache. Throughout the day, I took like 4 naps, which I never do. I rarely ever take a nap ever, let alone take 4 in one day. That's how screwed up I was. And I'm never usually like that at all, really. 5 beers. I had like a few shots there and there. I think I had like 3 or 4. I don't know if it was just a weed pen there at that point that made me sick at that point that my friend gave me, which I mean it's not like an edible or anything like that, but it's like a prone like you just had like 5 more beers on top of that. But anyway, I'm not blaming the weed pen on that one. That was on me taking too many drinks at that point. I think it was the 5 beers I think I had, plus those chicken wings that weren't really filling enough. I ate more food after the fact. But I did have mozzarella sticks on top of that, though, which I guess didn't do the trick. But anyway, that's why I didn't do the show yesterday. So if anybody was curious of why there was no show yesterday, I didn't even bother posting because at that point I didn't even want to look at a screen. I wanted to close my eyes and just sleep the rest of the day. And I probably should have because I watched, which is by far the worst Monday Night Football of the year, which was the Bears and the Vikings from last night. Terrible game. Joshua Dobbs threw for 4 interceptions. He fumbled at one point. He had 5 turnovers by himself. He threw for under 100. He threw for about 175 yards, I want to say, at this point. That was the final stat that he had in the game. He had a 14-yard play late in the game. You didn't miss much. The Bears won a game without throwing a touchdown. Santos was 4 for 5 in the game. He missed a 55. Actually made a 55-yard field goal, but missed a 48-yard field goal. That makes any freaking sense. Otherwise, you didn't miss much. The Vikings just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Dobbs just basically cost them the game, and we can all say now officially, or at least I can say it, this guy's a fraud. He's a sucky quarterback. I don't know why the Vikings would even trade for him anyway and not try to go after Joe Flacco or not try to get Cam Newton. At this point, do something to save your season because this guy, it's not it. It's pretty obvious. And the fact that Justin Jefferson didn't play, you know what it tells me right now at this point? He ain't going to play the rest of the year. He's not going to. After that performance with Joshua Dobbs, would you want to play with him at this point? Is his team worth saving? I don't think it is. I don't think they're really that great. I think they were overrated because of the schedule they played with for the last few weeks. They didn't play anybody tough. And if you think about it, in this case here, they played a sucky Chicago Bears team that probably should have lost that game. Here they are now. They're 4-8. I can't figure out how they're 4-8 at this point, but they are. That was a wild game. That was a wildly bad game. Wild for the wrong reasons. I would say the fiasco turnovers there, the interceptions, the bad throws. Dobbs just sucks. That's all there is to it. The guy just sucks. He sucked last year with Tennessee trying to get into the playoffs. He sucked this year with the Arizona Cardinals, and now he sucks with the Minnesota Vikings. He's a fraud. The guy was never good. He's overhyped, overrated. Guy's got a bad arm. He's worse. He's worse than Mac Jones. Although I shouldn't even say that now because Mac Jones, for the 4th time this year, got benched. I'll get on that one later on in just a second here. I'm going to review the rest of the scores here because there's no point of even going into a full review with this whole thing because really, realistically, I have no energy or desire to really go through all these games because I had a crappy weekend when it came to picks. There was some injury news that was brought up. Jalen Phillips, the inside linebacker for the Dolphins, he tore his Achilles. He's done for the year. But the Dolphins did get the win 34-13. I'll give you a quick review on that one, really, because that one's actually what was worth reviewing because I actually had that pick right. There was a lot of things I wanted to talk about on this show, but, it's just I'd rather review the things because after watching the Patriots this weekend and then watching the Bruins lose last night to the Blue Jackets and lose 3 straight games on top of that, I need to get that right out of the way. I do. But Tua played decent in this one. Tyreek Hill's wife was at the game. Alan Michaels made a crack about it. which I thought was hilarious. But the Jets were terrible in this game. Tim Boyle, 27 for 38, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. One key pick was late early in the first half when he tried to throw a Hail Mary. Boyle, Holland got the interception. He returned it for 99 yards and got a touchdown. And that's after, by the way, Tua threw a pick 6 to Echols, who returned it for 30 yards. Morstead had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game, 1 for 13, 1 for 34. Boyle had a 1-yard touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson, which was on a garbage drive after the Dolphins do another pick. Tua in this game played decent. He didn't play overall like spectacular in this game. 21 for 30, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. The 1 touchdown was to Hill. He had 9 catches for 102 yards in the game. He actually got outgained by Jalen Waddle, who had 8 catches for 114 yards and no touchdowns in the game. Tua had a fumble loss as well at one point in the game. He turned it over 3 times by himself here, but it didn't really matter because Tim Boyle just is terrible. He's the worst. His complete percentage in college, believe it or not, was worse than what is in the NFL. His career in college, 1 touchdown, 15 interceptions, and complete percentage of 48.4. That's pretty bad. How this guy got on an NFL roster or even got drafted at all is beyond me. I couldn't tell you. But he's complete garbage. I don't even know if this guy's a really good back at this point. This is probably why he was a 3rd string at this point. The fact he's even a 3rd string and not on the practice squad is kind of surprising. Very puzzling decision there that the Jets made to go with Tim Boyle instead of signing, I don't know, Cam Newton, Joe Flacco could have came back. Joshua, you could have even picked up Jaron Hall, who I think now at this point might get the start for the Vikings once their bye week is over. But there's a lot of things that this Jet team could have done. They did the polar opposite here. And I think at this point right now, I think Saleh knows his job's on the line. Even though he doesn't think that way, he wants to put that front out there. He knows he's done. It's only a matter of time. This is on him. I'm just saying, like the expectations were never going to be met there to begin with. And I think regardless, if you think about it, there would have been some issues between Rodgers and Saleh throughout the year anyway. Because I didn't see, I realistically thought the Jets were a playoff team this year and they would have overcame it. But the way they just mismanaged Wilson completely. And Saleh basically taking over some play calling, sometimes Hackett doing it over Rodgers, get one over on Rodgers or the other way around. And it's just, it's bad when Saleh's the one that's doing a play calling for one of the worst quarterbacks in the entire league. That that point it's bad. By the way, that game generated 41 million viewers, the most Amazon Prime's ever had, and the most viewed holiday-themed game ever. So whether it's Thanksgiving or Black Friday, that's the first time I got it. So they'll definitely have a Black Friday game again next year. Hopefully it's not this one. Steelers with the Bengals 16-10. This was the first game the Steelers crossed over 400 yards. Pickett was 24 for 33, 278 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Probably the best signature win game he's ever had in his career. This game was pretty good. Fearmouth went off in this game, had 9 catches for 120 yards. Pickett had 3 catches for 58. Deontay Johnson had 4 catches for 50 yards there. On the ground, they ran for 153 yards on 33 carries. Najee Harris led the team with 99 yards rushing with 1 touchdown and 15 carries. Warren had 49 yards rushing with 13 carries. This team was rolling, and they're rolling at the right time here. They're in the perfect spot right now. They're the 5th seed right now in the AFC wild card. I think Pickett's a real deal at this point. I mean, say what you want about the guy. I mean, the guy was if you're 24 for 33 for 278 yards, and by the way, with Matt Canada, your offensive coordinator, no longer the issue here because he got fired, and he only scored 16 points, but that Steelers team is a real deal. I think they are the real deal defensively. Jake Browning, 19 for 26, 227 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He got sacked overall 4 times in the game. TJ Watt in this game got to at least twice in this game. Hayward got a sack in there, and I believe Herrenberg got a sack in there as well. But this defense overall was pretty good. I mean, they managed to shut down the Bengals throughout this entire game. And there was no T. Higgins in this game. He was out with an injury. So it was just Chase at that point, but he only had 4 catches for 81 yards. Not much production out of that one, although he was averaging 20.3 yards per average there. Mason was averaging 22 yards on average. He had 2 catches for 44, and Taylor Irwin averaged 25 yards because he had the 1 catch for 25 yards. But otherwise, the rest of the team was just meh at best. Colts beat the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield left the game with an injury. Jonathan Taylor played through an injured thumb right now at this point. His status is up in the air. But Colts did get the win 27-20. Overall in this game, if I had to be perfectly honest here about the whole thing, Jonathan Taylor carried this entire team from the start here. This really didn't feel like a game where Gardner Minshew did much in this game to make much of a difference here. Even though he went 24 for 41 for 251 yards. I mean, Taylor had 2 rushing touchdowns in the game. He had 15 carries for 91 yards. He's the reason why your Colts are winning. It's not the quarterback play. It's not the fact that you have Gardner Minshew. It's not the fact that you're a wide receiving core at this point, although Pittman had 10 catches for 107 yards. That was the only wide receiver that had a breakout game. The rest of them were just meh. I mean, Downs had 5 catches for 43 yards. Mallory had 2 catches for 29 yards. Cox had 1 catch for 30. I mean, these aren't big numbers. And I don't even know who the hell Mallory even is. So there you go. I mean, that's just not much else to tell on that one there. Titans beat the Panthers 17-10. Due to this, Frank Reich got fired. Deuce Staley got fired. The quarterback coach, Josh McGowan, got fired. Dave Tepper fired. And by the way, Frank Reich, the 6th head coach ever in the NFL to not finish the season. And that's a first in NFL history to have that happen for Frank Reich, and the first time to have it happen to him back-to-back seasons. Last year with the Colts, this year with the Panthers. It was the time. It was time. I mean, Frank Reich lost the team a while ago, and the fact of the matter is that you're 1-10, and this time around here, it finally took you this to realize, oh yeah, I need to go. I need to step back here. I need to be gone, and it is what it is, Some people just finally have the realization to admit to themselves, okay, yeah, I need to step down and retire here. So it makes sense. Hubbard had 14 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry had two rushing TDs on 18 carries for 76 yards. Not much else to say about this game, really. Levis didn't play that great. Young didn't play that great either. There was just with the amount of penalties that were in this game, it kind of ruined it. I mean, I'm going to show you right now what the penalties were in this game, which was unbelievable here. 12 penalties combined, 8 of them against the Tennessee Titans for 53 yards. 4 of them came against the Carolina Panthers. And I got to say it here. Bryce Young is just too small in this league. He got pressured a lot in this game. And I think that the offensive line just doesn't care. They don't believe in this kid. They don't. I mean, you go from a Russell Wilson 2.0 to basically, I would say the next Jimmy Clausen. If I had to put into words right now of how bad of a season this is right now for the Carolina Panthers, go back to 2010 and watch Jimmy Clausen play football. That was bad. And I hate to say that about Bryce Young because I did see bright things in him. I never saw any bright things in Jimmy Clausen, really. I knew Jimmy Clausen was a buzz right when he got drafted to the Panthers. I said to myself, he's better off either with the Browns or the Bengals. But, I mean, even then, I just thought he had no chance. Banged up offensive line, aging defense. It just wasn't ever going to work out. I'm going to do the Patriots-Giants review in the end because I have my rant about this whole thing. So I'm going to leave that off the NFL review thing and go on my little thing with the – although I should bring in the fact they lost 10-7 to Tommy DeVito. Giants are now 4-8. You're now 2-9. Mac Jones got benched for the 4th time. He was 12 for 21, had a fumble loss, 2 interceptions. Mac Jones right now has got this season alone, and I just figured this out. He's got 10 touchdowns. He's got 13 interceptions. And by the way, the fumble losses that he has this year, he has 6. 6 fumble losses on the season. I'm just looking down at the stat right now, and I couldn't really believe it to myself. But I'm going to say the rant to the end because I have a lot to say about the Bill Belichick stuff and all that aside. But this game sucked. Let me give you the rundown of the plays here from how this started right now. So, fumble for the Giants, a punt, interception, punt, interception, touchdown, punt, and a half. Second half, touchdown by Stevenson, which was the only thing that happened in that game. That was on an 11-play, 60-yard drive. They should have ran the ball more. They were trying to make Mac Jones do the ball way too much here. And I don't know if it's just the fact that Bill O'Brien was never a Mac Jones fan in Alabama, or was more of a fan of Bryce Young, or more of a fan of Jalen Hurts or Tua. Otherwise, it just, I don't know. If there's beef there with Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones, and Mac Jones wanted to work with Bill O'Brien, but Bill O'Brien never really wanted to work with Mac Jones going to New England here, which I have a funny feeling that's exactly what it is, then that sucks. So other than touchdown, it's punt, 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 interception, field goal, punt, missed field goal, end the game. That's the Patriots over the weekend against the Giants. They put Zappe in the game. He was no better. He was 5 for 12 for about 53 yards. That's pretty bad. And with Bill Belichick, doing what he does best here and not naming the starting quarterback, and even going to this week here with this, and some of the players didn't even know until last night or or right at kickoff. A lot of dysfunction. Just a lot of dysfunction. And like I said before, I'm going to get into that a little bit towards the rant here in the at the other side here. So let's see. I mentioned Bears Vikings 12-10. That was last night Monday Night Football, the worst Monday night game of the year. The Saints lost to the Falcons 24-15. This was Derek Carr trying his best here to not make it worse, but in reality, this team is they're not rallying around this guy despite throwing for 300 yards. Ritter was no better. He was 13 for 21 for 168 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 pick. The really only saving grace here that kept the Falcons really pretty much leading throughout most of the game, really, was the pick 6 from Jason Bates III for 92 yards. The biggest play he's made all year as an Atlanta Falcon, believe it or not, because he's been really, really mentioned at all throughout the year. In fact, I actually forgot he was actually on the team. That's how much I actually forgot that Bates was even still in the league. Just that one pick right there was off of Shaheed's hands, right to Bates. I mean, all I got to say about this one right now is that Derek Carr at this point is just a fraud. That's all there is to it. Derek Carr's a fraud. New Orleans should have realized that a long time ago at this point. He's nothing special. He's just at this a step above, I would say, David Carr, his older brother, who used to play in the NFL, who sucked, who was just as worse as Derek Carr is. So that's that. You got Bijan Robinson with a 10-yard rushing touchdown there, a field goal by Group. Ritter had the one great pass that I thought he was trying to throw away that point. That was on a 9-play, 95-yard drive in 5 minutes. It was a 26-yard touchdown pass to Bijan Robinson, the rookie out of Texas. And Young-Shu Koo, who really put this game away with his foot, making it 24-15. Otherwise, in this game, he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, Robinson. He had 16 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. He had the 1 touchdown reception. He had 3 catches for 32 yards. Drake London had 5 catches for 91. And that's really all you really need to know about this game here. Olive left with a concussion. He had 7 catches for 114 yards, though. Nobody else showed up. It was just Alvin Kamara and Olive. That was really about it. Nobody else really came to play in this game, which was kind of pathetic. But yeah. 2 games of today, I think, honestly, are worth the mention here. It's the Jaguars-Texans game. That game right there, I watched that game. And the way Lawrence played, he played like this was a playoff game that he needed to win, and he got it on the road. 23 for 38, 364 yards to 1 touchdown. He did throw an interception in there, however, though. Really had the 1 touchdown reception that really just put the control back in Jacksonville's hands. He had 5 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. Ridley did. Kirk had 4 catches for 89. But Stroud in this game played great. He was 26 for 36, 304 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no picks. Stroud had the 1 rushing touchdown for himself. He carried this team. This was a Tom Brady-esque, the closest thing to a Tom Brady-Peyton Manning possible rivalry here that I've ever watched right now so far in the NFL. And these two go at it for a long time, and I truly believe that. Stroud is just on a different level than Bryce Young is right now. It's kind of crazy. And these wide receivers, you got to give it up to them. Nico Collins, 7 catches for 104 yards, 1 touchdown. Tank Dell, 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Robert Woods had 2 catches for 40. Singletary had 6 catches for 54. And, he's a running back. But this was a very, very game Texan team. And They tried their best. They really did. But this is the next Brady Manning rivalry. I'm all for it. It seriously had the feeling of it right there from the start to finish of that game. I thought I watched an instant classic of a competitive offensive duo, but then at the same time you mix in there with a very good defenses by both sides. It felt like a normal football game there. There wasn't really a lot of bull crap penalties, although there were some in the end, but there were 13 penalties. But I didn't think it took that much away from the game, really. But overall, I think in the end there, when you had a fourth down play, you try to go for it, you try to go through deep in a 4th and 1. That's what lost you the game. And that, not to mention the fact that Matt Amendola missed a 58-yard field goal off the crossbar. It was no good. That was disappointing. Overall, though, that I enjoyed that game very much. That might be one of the better games of the year. Houston at this point needs to beat the rest of their division out here and whatever's left. They play Denver next weekend at home. They're at the Jets the following week, then at the Titans, then they're facing the Browns, then they face the Titans, and then they're at the Colts. If I'm them, I'm not losing another game. I'm not risking losing a playoff spot to a crappy Colt team and a Browns team at this point that's really with Myles Garrett, who's in a sleeve after the game, and a Denver Bronco team that allowed 70 points in a regular season game. So I keep that in mind. I think the little Denver Magic is going to be gone after this weekend anyway. So they need to win out. And I hope they do. I hope they actually get in the wild. I hope they're above Pittsburgh or at least below them at this point because it might give them a better shot to have a deeper run. I kind of think at this point they're going to end up facing Kansas City anyway. I think Jacksonville completely wins out here. I think Kansas City loses another game or two to somebody else. I don't know who, but it's a wait and see kind of thing. It really is. But yeah, anyway, the other game that was game of the day, which was the Bills Eagles. This game was an instant classic from start to finish here. I'm gonna start off with Hurts with a 1-yard run here. Then Allen scrambled for 9 yards in there. Then he threw a 13-yard pass to Stephon Diggs. Hurts threw a 3-yard pass to A.J. Brown. Then Allen scrambled again for 16 yards there. Diggs was injured during the play. I think he was able to get back into the game. Hurts had a pass to Devontae Smith for 15 yards. They made 24-21. Then another one so Chu was there for 29 yards, and that was at the turnover. I think it was on a fumble or interception. I'm not sure. Allen threw a pass to Gabe Davis for 7 yards. Then a field goal kick there. Then with the overtime, the Bills went for a kick there. Then Hurts ran in for 12 yards out. Just a nice little play-action play there and runs it into the end zone. That game came to a close there, 37-34. Josh Allen in this game, 29 for 51, 339 yards. He did throw an interception in that one, which led to that touchdown drive. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Hurts was 18 for 31, 200 yards exactly, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he had the 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns alone in this game. And he carried this team to a victory. He really did. Swift had 14 carries for 80 yards. This Buffalo Bill defense is washed. I hate to say it. With Matt Milano gone and Espinosa, is playing hurt, it's not good. It's not pretty. So that was an ugly defensive performance by the Bills here in this game. They allowed 185 yards on the ground and 200 yards passing. So that's 385 yards of offense. Devontae Smith had 7 catches for 106 yards. A.J. Brown had 5 catches for 37. A.J. Brown has really been declining with yards lately. I think was it last week that he had 9 yards, and in this week here he barely had 40. I mean, it's just like he's been really not doing a lot. But Devontae Smith has found his calling here. You talk about a guy who's taking the pedal and step up to the plate here and help Philadelphia out. I mean, in the most obvious ways. It's been great to watch. I think that the story here is that with Goddard hurt, Devontae Smith went from being a de facto number 3 to being the number 1 wide receiver on this team and putting Brown number 2. And whatever helps out Philadelphia, that's how you got to look at it at this point. I think this team is bound to go to the Super Bowl this year. I have a hard time believing right now anyone can stop this team now at this point, because if Buffalo couldn't do it, and if Kansas City couldn't do it, I don't know if the 49ers can really do it, even with Chase Young again with Bosa in them. And with them being shorthanded with Hulanger, I can't imagine that team realistically losing to San Francisco with a shorthanded secondary there. Though they could sign Marcus Peters apparently because Peters got released by the Raiders. And actually, I should probably mention that right now. Speaking of the Raiders, actually, Marcus Peters played his last game with the Raiders. They were up 14-0 here. They lost 31-17. Patrick Mahomes in the game, 27 for 34, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Kelsey in the game actually had a pretty good game. He had 6 catches for 91 yards. Didn't get a touchdown, though. Rashee Rice had 8 catches for 107 yards. Sky Moore had 3 catches for 34. Pacheco had 5 catches for 34 yards. Not much of a turnover to say in this game, really. And not really a lot of sacks allowed here by the Raiders' offensive line either. Karlaftis got the 1 sack there. That was really about it. I mean, Aiden O'Connell played pretty great football, actually. He was 20 for 33, 248 yards, a touchdown. Hey, you only do what you can. And believe it or not, the story was in this game was that the Raiders started out really good here. I think the Kansas City just ran away within the second half. Jacobs had 20 carries for 110 yards and a touchdown. I just realized now I'm going to be total darkness soon. I'm going to put that light on behind me. That's decent enough. Anyway, so you got Myers with 2 catches you had Myers with 6 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown. Devontae had 5 catches for 73 and 0 touchdowns there. Myers in this season alone with the Raiders, I just figured this out. He's got 9 touchdowns this season. 9 touchdowns. Think about that for a minute. You got Devontae Adams on here. It's completely ass backwards. But yeah, he's got 9 touchdowns this season. It's kind of hard to believe. Rams destroyed the Cardinals 37-14. Stafford threw a season high 4 touchdowns in the game while going 25 for 33 for 229 yards. Here's what the touchdowns were: 7 yards to Higbee, 5 yards to Higbee there, 15 yards to Kyren Williams, a 3-yard play to Kyren Williams, and he had a rushing touchdown as well, and Freeman had a 23-yard run. Kyle Murray threw an indulgence there. They failed in a 2-point conversion, but it really didn't even matter at that point. I couldn't figure out why they were trying to go for 2 anyway, but at that point they were dead in the water. Kyler Murray in this game, though, 27 for 45, 256 yards, a touchdown, no picks here in the game. He was sacked 4 times. Overall, defensively in this game, this was probably one of the better defensive games they've had all year, the Rams. Not much to say about the one and only Aaron Donald because he really didn't factor in this game, really. I'm trying to figure out what his defense was in the game, and I can't find his name on here, which is kind of hard to believe. Cup in this game had 3 catches for 18 yards. Nakua had 4 catches for 27. I'm still trying to figure out here how the hell here they had a game here without Nakua and Cooper Kupp going off here, yet the Cardinals still lose this game. I just couldn't figure that one out. And they were up 8-7, which is kind of hard to believe. But anyway, they were outscored at that point. I think it was like, what was it 30-7 at that point, or 30-6 at that point, at that 8-7 trailing there. So the Rams went on a run at that point, and the Cardinals, look, Kyler Murray can make himself look at the end of the day of all this. They have a suckback team. Nobody there cares. They want Jonathan Gannon to get fired, and that's exactly what will happen by season end here. And Gannon will go back to being a defensive coordinator somewhere else. Maybe with the Eagles again. Who knows? The Broncos beat the Browns 29-12. This was and this is what was said after the game here. Sean Payton said he had no idea what a scoregami was, apparently. But he went. Russell Wilson in this game didn't do so great. 13 for 22, 134 yards, 1 touchdown there. That's all he really needed to do. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was pulled. He went 14 for 29, 134 yards and a touchdown. They put P.J. Walker in the game. He was 6 for 13 for 56 yards. He was sacked 4 times in the game. Ngozi had 6 catches for 59 yards. Tillman had 4 catches for 55. Amari Cooper had 2 catches for 16 yards. He was shut down in this game. There's no other way of looking at it. He was completely shut down in this game. With him being shut down in this game and being targeted 6 times and he only got 2 catches out of it, that goes to show you why they lost this game. without him making some kind of a statement here, they were never going to win that game. So there you go. But Broncos, though, they just were in complete control. They had 169 yards on the ground. They had Javonte Williams with 18 carries for 65 yards. Perine had 7 carries for 55 yards and 1 touchdown, the former Bengal. Wilson had 11 carries for 34 yards and a rushing touchdown of his own. And Marvin Mims had 1 catch for 11, 1 rush for 11 yards, not 1 catch. But Mims had 2 catches for 24. Sutton had 3 catches for 61. Judy had 2 catches for 11 yards. Not much progression out of that pass attack, really, for them, which is kind of surprising. I think it was because of how good they are. But Denver got the win. They blew them out. I mean, it wasn't even close. Wilson had a 2-yard rushing touchdown. Perine had a 3-yard rushing touchdown. Hopkins had 2 field goals made. Dunn had was eligible, but Robinson threw a touchdown pass to Harrison Bryant. They failed a 2-point conversion, which would have tied the game. Lutz had a field goal. Wilson had a pass to Trump, was ruled incomplete, but they reversed the call with an 8-yard touchdown play. Then Lutz had a field goal. Then Walker was sacked in the end zone by Alan Bonito for safety there. So that's how the game pretty much came to a close. 29-12, Broncos get the win. The Ravens beat the Chargers 20-10, and Lamar Jackson got to 5,000 yards rushing in just 82 games. What do you say after the game? Cool. Ravens are 9-3. They're red hot right now. Lamar, 18 for 32 in the game, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Was not sacked. It was sacked twice in the game. Didn't really matter, though. Lamar had 11 carries for 39 yards on the ground. Zay Flowers had the 1 carry for 37 yards in the game running touchdown he had. He also had a receiving touchdown in the game. 5 carries for 25 yards. I think it was a 5-yard reception in the end zone, I think it was. Or 3. It was which made it 7-3. Otherwise, this game was all about the Chargers offense just turning a lot over here, except for the 3-yard touchdown pass to Everett. But this game was already over by that point. This game was not good, though. Herbert, 29 for 44, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Allen had a fumble. Eckler fumbled, and Herbert fumbled. There was 3 fumble losses in the game, 1 pick, 4 turnovers for the Chargers. They were just not on the right page at all. Allen just got strip sacked there strip at that point there. Klein recovered a fumble there. Pierce recovered a fumble. Urban recovered a fumble there. Mallet had an interception for the Ravens. This Ravens defense has been great. They really have been. They're 9-3, and they are right now currently the number 1 seed in the AFC. So that was your NFL minute there. That was really all the news that really needed to get out there. Really, the Barry Sanders documentary is coming out pretty damn soon. Can't wait to watch that. That'll be interesting to watch. That'll be really good. That'll be a really good thing here. And here's an NFL hate meme of the day so far. David Tepper is the worst owner in the NFL. Trade away a haul to force Wright to take the wrong quarterback. Gave the wrong quarterback nothing to work with. Fired Wright midseason at the wrong quarterback with nothing to work with. Didn't win games. 5 head coaches in 4 years. And since Tepper took over the team, he's 30-63. That's my old podcast partner just posted. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, that was pretty disappointing. I mean, to say the least here for his time being there, it really was. Anyway, Bill Belichick, I mentioned before, he said, quote, "I don't announce stars till the end of the week." I think he said he won't say who the starting quarterback's going to be at this point, and that's that with that. I'll get in my rant on that one in a little bit. Myles Garrett's day-to-day with a shoulder injury. Greg Olsen now wants to former Carolina Panther and Chicago Bear, and now current Fox analyst, is interested on the head coaching position for the Carolina Panthers. I kind of look at it like this. At this point, I wouldn't even want to go near it because I feel like Dave Tepper and Greg Olsen wouldn't get along. I feel like Bill Belichick and Greg Olsen and David Tepper would just be feuding all the time. It's not good. It's not a good vibe down there in Carolina. Carolina is they just relocate. Realistically, at this point, they just relocate. That franchise is a complete waste. It really is. Anyway, the Texans have claimed Derek Barnett, the former Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning defensive end, to the Texans. He's been claimed by the Texans. Anyway, we got some more football news there. Commanders GM might be on the hot seat as well, other than Ron Rivera. He'll be fired at the end of the year. Houston Cougar head coach Dana Holmgren was fired as of this week. Let's see here. We got Bo Nix became the second player in Oregon football history with 60 passing touchdowns and 20 rushing touchdowns, joining Marcus Mariota. And I have a funny feeling that we're going to see Bo Nix win the Heisman. I don't know what it is, but to have 60 passing touchdowns and 20 rushing touchdowns, if that doesn't give you the Heisman Trophy, I don't know what does. Brandon Graham, with the game he played against Buffalo, he played his 189th career game, so congrats to him. That was really about it. I can't really say I can find anything else around here. The Barry Sanders explained why he left the Lions at the prime of his career. He said, quote, he didn't see the team as Super Bowl contenders, and there was no reason for him to stay. It was basically what he said. I don't know if that was word for what he said there, if I had it in the right feed there, but that's basically it in a nutshell. All right, and I'm going to give you the NFL, the college football scores really quickly here from Week 13. I'm going to run it down to you really quickly here. It started out with Thursday game. Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 17-7. They're 12th ranked. I think the other rankings may have changed by now. Iowa, 17th ranked Iowa beat Nebraska 13-10. Oklahoma, and that was from Black Friday, by the way. Oklahoma, 13th ranked Oklahoma beat TCU 69-45. 7th ranked Texas destroyed Texas Tech 57-7. 11th ranked Penn State beat Michigan State 42-0. 6th ranked Oregon beat 16th ranked Oregon State 31-7. Bo Nix in the game, 367 yards, 33 for 40, 2 touchdowns, no picks in that game. 9th ranked Missouri beat Arkansas 48-14. Kentucky upset 10th ranked Louisville in their place 38-31. And Ann Arbor, Michigan, 3rd ranked Michigan, upsetting 2nd ranked Ohio State 30-24. Kyle McCord in the game had to do 2 interceptions. He was 18 for 30 for 271 and 2 touchdowns there, but he did throw the 2 interceptions, especially one late in the game. J.J. McCarthy had 16 for 20, 148 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Blake Corum had 22 carries for 88 yards and 2 rushing TDs. Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way, also had about 118 yards receiving on 5 catches for 1 touchdown in the game. And the first time since the 96-97, I think it was like 95, 96, 97, that Michigan won 3 straight times against Ohio State. And that year they won the national championship. Just want to put it out there for you. 14th ranked LSU beat Texas A&M 42-30. 21st ranked Tennessee beat Vanderbilt 48-24. Iron Bowl, Alabama beat Auburn 27-24. It was a late heroic by Isaiah Bond with a game-winning touchdown reception. Milroe was 16 for 24 for 259 yards and 2 touchdowns. Peyton Thorne 5 for 16 for 91 yards, a touchdown, and a second interception, 2 interceptions, one late to seal the game for them. 24th ranked Clemson beating South Carolina 16-7. 22nd ranked North Carolina State beating unranked North Carolina with Drake May 39-20. Double overtime. 20th ranked Oklahoma State beat BYU 40-34. 15th ranked Arizona beating Arizona State 59-23. Liberty going to UTEP beating them. They now are undefeated at the end of the year 42-28. They're ranked 25th. 4th ranked Washington surviving Washington State 24-21. 5th ranked Florida State beating Florida 24-15. Number 1 ranked Georgia beating Georgia Tech 31-23. Iowa State pulling off the upset over Kansas State 42-35 in their place. Next week is the championship games. Here's what you got unscheduled. It is the Pac-12 championship game. It's 6th ranked Oregon taking on 4th ranked Washington. New Mexico State taking on Liberty, 25th ranked Liberty in the Conference USA championship game. Saturday, December 2nd, you have 20th ranked Oklahoma State taking on 7th ranked Texas in the Big 12 championship. In the SEC title game, it's number 1 ranked Georgia taking on 8th ranked Alabama. ACC title game, it's 10th ranked Louisville at Florida State. Big Ten title game, it's 3rd ranked Michigan taking on 17th ranked Iowa. And SMU is taking on 23rd ranked Tulane in the American Athletic Championship. That is in the top 25, as far as we know with that one right now. There was no other big things to miss here in the Pac-12 as far as unranked opponents go. Cal beat UCLA 33-7 in their place, which is unbelievable at that point. 18th ranked Notre Dame beat Stanford 56-23. I don't know why that didn't come up in the top 25. Notre Dame was ranked. Utah beat Colorado. There was no Shader Sanders because he is injured. He injured his shoulder, and he said, quote, he could not throw with his arm. Tim Brewster resigned after the game. Warren Sapp is now the new defensive coordinator. They're bringing in some new people in there, I guess. If I'm Shader at this point, I just want to get away from that team. That team at this point is complete garbage. Here's my take on the whole thing. I'm going to give you a quick take on this whole thing. That kid needs to get transferred to Auburn. I think Tyler Van Dyke is entering the transfer portal as well. I wouldn't mind seeing Shader either going to Miami or going to Auburn. And the reason I say Auburn is probably going to be a better choice for him is because you got people to throw to. You know, they have no quarterback down there. They have a good system down there. They have great coaching down there in Hugh Freeze. I'd say get away from the father at this point. Because Deion is taking away from his son's success. He's really making it about him. That's all it is. And it's hurting his leg. It's hurting his son's up-and-coming legacy at this point. So to me, I got to say, if I'm him, I'm going to Auburn or I'm going to Miami. That's the way I like for him to come here. Warren Sapp is not a good person to be hiring at this point as a coach. I'm just saying. The guy's got anger management issues. The guy's got issues altogether. He just does. He has not been the same since that incident he had where he got fired from the NFL Network. He's been irrelevant ever since. And I think to bring him in at this point and to deal with kids here, not a good choice. I'm just being realistic here. It's not a good fit. I mean, what are you going to do next? You're gonna hire Steve Mariucci here to be offensive coordinator here? I mean, it's like I don't get it. I get what he's doing for Colorado here at this point. He's making a difference there for that school, but it's like they're 4-8 here. Like it's not like they're going to Rose Bowl this year and winning the national championship. It's not happening. So if I'm Shader, I either go to the NFL or I transfer out of there because it's not going to end well for this kid. There's going to be some ongoing issues with Sapp and Deion. I can just see it now. I don't know how great friends I think they are great friends, but Warren to me just doesn't seem like the kind of guy at this point that I'd want to be a coordinator and a kid at college level. In the NFL, sure. But anything else, I'd say no. There's no reason to. There's no reason for him to be a coordinator in that team. I'm just saying. But yeah, there was no Shader Sanders. He injured his shoulder. He apparently can't throw it. That can't be good. I mean, I know the next season starts in 9 months from now, but it's not good. It's not a thing you really want to hear. Let's put it that way. For hockey last night, I would review all the games from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even over the weekend here, but I'm not going to here because I got to get in this rant here. Bruins, who've lost 3 straight games, lost 5-2 last night to Columbus. And actually, before I even get in a rant, let me give you the rest of the scores. The Panthers beat the Ottawa Senators 5-0. Sabres beat the New York Rangers 5-1. Colorado Avalanche beat the Lightning 4-1. The San Jose Sharks beat the Washington Capitals 2-1, and the Calgary Flames beat the Vegas Golden Knights 2-1. Now, the loss the Bruins suffered last night was their third straight loss. They have now had since the whole Milan Lucic situation. Let's see here. They lost to Detroit 5-2 at home. That was on Black Friday. Then the next day, they lost to the New York Rangers 7-4. By the way, I think Swayman might have played in this game. Not 100% sure if he did or not. I'm pretty sure he did, and he did. He had 24 saves and allowed 4 shots. Not a good percentage. Not good. Yomark, for whatever reason, they just left him in the game the entire time. The guy hasn't played since, I want to say, probably since the Lightning game, which was on that Monday. So I just think that was kind of, or I think it was a game against the Montreal Canadiens. I think it was probably that game. Either that was it a Sabre game? Was it a Sabre? I think it was the Sabres. So you put him in this game here against the Rangers 11 days later against one of your tough rivals, who, by the way, is gaining on you in home field advantage and ice for the playoffs. If let's say the season were to end today, right? So you put Yomark in this game here. You put him in a bad situation and you allow 7 goals. Here's my question: why wouldn't you pull him? I'm just curious. Why wouldn't you pull him in that case when you know the guy's struggling? 3 goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second period, 2 goals. Like he allowed 5 goals in the between the first and second period. Pull the freaking goalie. He does not have his best stuff. You put Swayman in that situation. And for God's sakes, do it at a time where you're down by 2 goals here. It's not hard to figure out. But nobody else showed up in this game, which pissed me off there even more. Coyle was a +1 here. Breacher was a -1. DeBrusk was a -1. Just this whole game, my God. Grzelcyk played terrible defensively. He was a -2. Carl was a 2. Lindholm was a 1. McAvoy was a -3. I don't know what this guy's issue is, but he's just not a really good defender. I don't think he is. Marchand, who I think, did he play in this game at all? I don't even think Marchand even played in this game. Oh, he did. He was a -2, so he's no better. He had 0 penalty minutes, which was kind of surprising. Pastrnak had 6 shots on goal and was a -3 going in this game. Pathetic. This game was absolutely pathetic. From start to finish. He had the 1 goal. I'll give him that. But it really 6 shots on goal here. And what are you a puck freak at this point? Like, are you just hogging up the puck for yourself to put up more stats for yourself because you're hurting your team with all the missed opportunities? Quick in the game had 27 saves and 31 shot attempts here. This is not the one that really pissed me off because I know it's at New York. It's in Madison Square Garden. It's a lot of pressure. It's your rival. I get it. But this was pathetic last night. Swayman had 17 saves, allowed 2 goals. I think here you pull him out too early. And you put Yomark in there, and it was no better. I'm just trying to figure out here what the point of this even was. It was just like the goalie rotation here, because what a good time to do that. They just did not do anything last night. That really made me happy. Ivan Prova, and here's another thing that really aggravates me even more. You pull him out in a game where he only allowed 1 goal in the first period and 1 goal in the second period. So what was the point of letting him out? I'm just curious, because the next thing you know, you put Yomark in there, and he allowed the other goal. 10 minutes later. Then you allow a power play call by Kirill Makavov, and you think, oh, we'll start trying here in the third period. Put Poltros with a wrist shot. Nice shot by him. Breach had a shot. The 2 rookies showed up to play. Where was everybody else? I'm just curious, but why was the need to do that in that situation? It had to be a thing. Can somebody answer that question for me? I'm just curious. Because the whole thing was stupid. It made no freaking sense. You're pulling Swayman out after he allowed 2 goals. I don't understand if it was 2 goals in a row in a matter of 30 seconds there, and he didn't seem right, and he was shook. That didn't seem like a guy that was shook to me. Why'd you pull him? So that was my thought. I thought that was a stupid thing to do. They put Yomark in there, who's not even better. In fact, a clutch game, like as far as great goalie performance at all this season, Swayman has had more clutch performances than Yomark has had. That was embarrassing. Embarrassing loss. They should have never lost that game like that last night. It was pathetic. That's all I needed to say about this one. Not as long as I ran, I wanted to go with that whole thing. But now that I look back on the performances, that was stupid. And I don't know if that was a Montgomery decision. I don't know if that was a decision that was above here with ownership, management maybe. I don't know what the story was last night going into this game. But it was, to me, it's like, I would understand if it was back-to-back here. But it wasn't. You pull a guy out, you put Yomark in there who you knew wasn't 100% to begin with. And then you have an empty netter randomly late in the game. I don't get it. I don't really get what the Bruins did last night. Did they just like punt in this game last night? I feel like they just punted. Really. Anyway. I'll get into some college basketball review stuff. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of big games. I know there were a lot of big games on over the weekend here. So I'll just go through I'll go to the top 25 quickly here of what happened last night. Because I should go through Sunday pretty quickly here, and I probably will. I might as well. 18th ranked Colorado beat Iona on Sunday, 85-68. 12th ranked Texas A&M beat Iowa State, 73-69. 15th ranked Texas beat Wyoming, 86-63. And 19th ranked Florida Atlantic beat Virginia Tech, 84-50. That was on Sunday. Saturday, it was just Alabama and Oregon. 17th ranked Alabama beat Oregon, 99-91. For Black Friday, I know Duke won North Carolina beat Arkansas. Ohio State upset Alabama. Florida Atlantic beat Texas A&M. UConn beat Manhattan. Oklahoma beat USC. I don't believe. By the way, Brian James even played in this game yet. And we're going to look at it right now. Yeah, he didn't play. So there you go. Houston got the win. I know that, and Baylor beat Florida. So that was in the over the weekend here for college basketball. Last night, UConn beat University of New Hampshire 84-64. UConn, fourth ranked, still undefeated. We got games on tonight, though. We got games on tonight with college basketball. It's 8th ranked Miami at 12th ranked Kentucky. 11th ranked Gonzaga playing CSUB. 21st ranked Mississippi State against Georgia Tech. 5th ranked Kansas against Eastern Illinois. 9th ranked Baylor at home against Nicholas in a preseason NIT, apparently. Number 1 ranked Purdue, since Kansas lost to Marquette a few days back here, 73-59. Purdue is now the new number 1. Kansas was ranked number 5, of course. Marquette's ranked 3rd. They're playing Southern tonight at 9. And 23rd ranked Alabama taking on Clemson. Clemson is 5-0. Alabama is 5-1 at 23rd rank. I'll give you the rankings right now. I might as well just get it out of the way here. Number 1 ranked Purdue. Number 2, Arizona. Number 3, Marquette. Number 4, UConn. Number 5, Kansas. Number 6, Houston. 7th ranked is Duke. 8th ranked Miami. 9th is Baylor. 10th is Tennessee. 11th is Gonzaga. 12th ranked Kentucky. 13th ranked Florida Atlantic. 14th ranked Texas A&M. Creighton dropped to 8th. They lost over the weekend, I believe, to or last week. Or no, it was last Thursday to Colorado State by 21 at home. 16th ranked is Texas. 17th ranked North Carolina. Villanova is ranked 18th. They're 6-1. I'm surprised they're not over North Carolina right now at this point. BYU is 6-0 at 19th. Colorado State's 20th at 6-0. Mississippi State's 6-0 at 21st. James Madison 22nd at 6-0. Alabama is 5-1 at 23rd. Illinois is 24th at 5-1, and Oklahoma is 25th at 6-0 after beating USC. They're no longer in the AP pool. So that's games that are on tonight. For hockey on tonight, we got Florida Panthers at the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have the Hurricanes at the Philadelphia Flyers. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Nashville Predators. Dallas Stars at the Winnipeg Jets. Seattle Kraken at the Chicago Blackhawks. Vegas Golden Knights are at the Edmonton Oilers. New York Islanders are the New Jersey Devils. St. Louis Blues are the Minnesota Wild. Tampa Bay Lightning are the Arizona Coyotes. And the Anaheim Ducks are at the Vancouver Canucks. So that is on tonight for hockey. For NBA, that was on last night. Not much else to say here. The 76ers beat the LA Lakers and gave LeBron James his worst loss in his career by 44. They won 138-94. Trailblazers beat the Pacers 114-110. Utah Jazz beat the Pelicans 114-112. Nuggets beat the Clippers 113-104. And the Wizards beat the Pistons 126-107. Tonight, it's Bulls and Celtics, Bucks and Heat, Raptors and Nets, Hornets and Knicks, Thunder and Timberwolves, Rockets and Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors at the Sacramento Kings, and the Atlanta Hawks at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the only note about the Celtics is that they didn't have Porzingis last Sunday against the Hawks. They got the 113-103 win over the Hawks. They are now improved to 13-4. Bucks had a 26-point comeback against the Trailblazers to win 108-102 on Sunday. The Suns beat the Knicks 116-113. The Magic beat the Hornets 130-117 on Sunday. The Cavs won at home over the Raptors on Sunday 105-102. Minnesota beat the Memphis Grizzlies 119-97. And after the game, Marcus Smart said about the Memphis Grizzlies, this is embarrassing. The Nets beat the Bulls 118-109. And the Nuggets at the time beat the Spurs 132-120. So they had back-to-back wins on last Sunday and last night. So that was your recap there for the NBA. The only story here was the fact that that LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar within I think it was within minutes. I think it was. I had the stat right here in front of me. This is according to CBS Sports. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 66,318 career minutes. Kareem had 66,297, so he had gain another extra 20 minutes, but it didn't matter. They got blown out by 44. Who cares? That's a who cares kind of story. Jason Pierre-Paul, the defensive end for the Miami Dolphins, formerly for the Buccaneers, the Giants, and the practice squad of the Saints. The Dolphins signed him to a deal to play for the Miami Dolphins. Marcus Peters was cut and released by the Raiders. The Dolphins and 49ers are possible fits. I kind of look at it like this. You need another secondary help if you're Philadelphia. I would sign him to Marcus Peters should go to Philadelphia to team up with Darius Slay Jr. I don't see anything wrong with that. You got James Bradbury, I get it, but I would put him at safety just because you need more safety help as well if you're Philadelphia here. I don't see the point of Marcus Peters getting picked up by the 49ers. They already got good secondary players. Ambry Thomas and Jadarius Ward are your two defensive backs. Unless you got to put Peters at defensive back and move Ward to safety and or to cover the fact that you don't have Halunga. I get it if that's the plan, but I don't know. I don't see Miami really taking him because you got Jalen Ramsey already and you have Xavier Howard. There's really no reason to add a third defensive back in there. And unless you're going to create the big three out of that whole thing and start a trio down the NFL when you got to have like 3 elite defensive backs in the NFL to win, which I say you don't because it's just too many massive egos there at that point, especially if it's Marcus Peters. I mean, that's just – you're asking for too much at that point. So here we go. This is a rant that people have probably been waiting for here. I did not want to go any more into depth with that, really. But here it is. Here's what my thoughts are on the whole Bill Belichick, Mac Jones situation. Here it is in a nutshell. I think Bill Belichick checked out. I think Bill Belichick has been checked out now for a while. And I'll go back to when that happened. It wasn't even a 38-3 game. It was the game when they got shut out 34-0 at home. That's where then the Bill Belichick way method just died. He knew that whole team quit on him. And the reality of it is he didn't let it go. So in reality, he's quit on them. He stopped giving a crap. He's broken Mac Jones by benching him 4 freaking times in these games. 4 times in a row. And I get why. Because the dude's shook in every game. I get it. I don't know if he does edibles before the game and he's just too high to figure out what the hell he's doing here or what his problem is. I don't know. But just the idea that you're Bill Belichick, you're a guy who's won 6 Super Bowl championships, act like it. You don't even know what you're doing. All you're doing at this point right now is playing this ridiculous game of, ridiculous like fight game with Robert Kraft here. Call him out saying you don't got the balls to fire me. I don't know why you want to play that game. Because eventually you're gonna get screwed. You're gonna get burned. Because eventually Robert Kraft will eventually break. If he hasn't done it already. Apparently he's been sitting in more meetings now, apparently, at this point. Which here's my question. If you're sitting in these freaking meetings, do you say to yourself, Bill, start Zappy? Why did he not get the call in this whole thing? I don't understand it. Like to me, it's like I know Bill does not like quarterbacks here besides Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers for whatever freaking reason here. And they both have massive egos. And maybe that's why that's what it is. I don't know. You like him so much, but you don't want to play with him. So that makes a lot of sense there too. But the whole thing of it is that the way I've watched this season play out, my first thought is that this is all about Bill versus Robert more than anything else than Bill versus Mac. That's all this is. And honestly, at this point, if you want to tarnish your legacy as a New England Patriot head coach, I don't know if you want to be remembered as a guy at this point that got himself fired after going 2-15 with his team, with your creation as you are also the GM as well in this whole thing. I'm just saying. The whole thing is complete stupidity. This man is tarnishing his legacy every week he's on that football field letting Mac Jones be the starting quarterback. Mac Jones is not an NFL starting quarterback. He's not. He sucks. That's all there is to it. I was wrong. For all you people out there, including my buddy Matt, who went to the game on Sunday in MetLife Stadium, shout out to him. You were right. But I'll tell you this right now. Daniel Jones is not anywhere close to being a starter either. I'm just saying. There's no, unless Daniel Jones actually has an MVP type of performance, I'll say Daniel Jones is better than Mac Jones. But here's the thing. After watching what happened this weekend, and I don't normally say this very oftenly here, but I might as well just say it here. I'd rather take Daniel Jones at this point than Mac Jones as a starting quarterback. That's it. You heard it from me. Daniel Jones is better than Mac Jones. That's all there is to it. 12 for 21 for 89 yards and 2 interceptions. One of them I get, he was trying to throw away. It was a lucky pick. The second one, he could have taken a sack there. But there's just times where I watch Mac Jones play. I don't think he really even has the heart to do it anymore. I don't think he does. I think he just doesn't even care about playing anymore. He doesn't even know why he even bothers anymore at the time. And the fact that Ramon Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott were in mid-conversation with a Boston reporter, and Ramon Stevenson's going, "Hey, Ezekiel, when do we find out Mac Jones was a starting quarterback? Huh?" And Ramon Stevenson, I said, "When do we find out Mac Jones was a starting quarterback?" "Oh, we found out right before the game started." Hunter Henry didn't even know until kickoff. The rest of the players knew until not until Saturday night. So there was like a mixture of like loose stuff there. You got a Trent Brown story going around right now saying how he's fat, and how he's out due to fatness. No. The story of it is right now at this point, is that Brown, it's not because he's fat and all that right now. It's all rotation stuff. So the idea right now to say that Trent Brown's fat and can't play offensive line in the NFL, that what do you want? Do you want a 200-pound dude to get crushed by a 400-pound dude? Shut up. Here's my theory. Bill Belichick is tarnishing his own legacy. Whatever he's got left for a legacy at this point, it's being destroyed as we speak. You're killing your chances about having anybody else coaching this team, want to use a coach in the near future. That's it. And I don't know if Bill Belichick is going to step down after the season right now at this point, if he knows he's just punting this one right now, because he knows at this point now that, hey, I'm out of here after this anyway. I'm getting my money out of you guys. Because truthfully, I think he's turned to one of these head coaches now who are just there for the money. That's why he signed a multi-year deal. He does not care about this creation. He purposely did this because he got a deal. He figured, he's so stupid. I'm just going to create this backed out hack job roster and get money. Because guess what? He doesn't care anymore. After this, he's like, all right, I hope it's good. I hope we get something good out of this. I don't think he's happy about the fact that he lost 34-0 at home. That's what was embarrassing. He thought he could just, make the league look stupid, and he'd be the smartest one in the room. And he figured he'll create one of the worst roster creations of all time and see what happens. Because this, by far, is the worst roster in New England Patriot history. This team is complete freaking garbage. The early 90 Patriots would kick this team's ass. And honestly, I don't think anybody there would even go. Because that's how bad the teams were. Why they put Zappe in there back-to-back games, to me, is beyond me. They did it in Germany. They did it here at MetLife Stadium. All this is a crock of bullshit. That's all this is. It's Bill Belichick saying, F you picked this guy. I didn't really want Mac Jones in the first place. What did you want then? Did you want Cam Newton? Because Cam Newton didn't want to be there. He didn't even like the fact that you were even around. He didn't like Josh McDaniels. He didn't like the fact of being told what to do. That's why nobody wants this guy in the NFL. Because ego's too freaking big. Honestly, at this point, if I'm the Patriots, I would have asked Cam Newton to come back a long time ago. Because he would have fixed this somehow. You know what he would have done, realistically? He would have gotten Ted Ginn Jr. on the phone. He would have gotten, somebody else on the phone. Maybe like a Robert Woods, maybe. Maybe a Deshaun Jackson. I don't know. Maybe a Brandon Marshall from I'm an Athlete here on the podcast. Convinced he's going to come out of retirement. He would have gotten something. And you know what would have happened at that point in time? Cameron would have been like, all right, this is my guys here. Either you step down as GM and sign these guys, or we're not coming here to play. Bill, of course, would have chosen the cheap route anyway, because he's cheap. He's a cheap bastard is what he is. The guy's a cheap bastard. The guy should have been fired well after that Germany game. The fact of the matter is, why the hell would you want to keep this guy around and go through the exact same vicious, never-ending cycle routine over and over and over again? It's stupid. It's so freaking stupid. And you want to know what the sad thing is, too, about this whole thing, too? It's never going to end. It's a never-ending pattern. You want to know why? Because Robert Kraft doesn't have the balls to fire Belichick. He wants Belichick to quit. Because, really, Robert Kraft has no idea what he's doing. Because you want to know why? Just doesn't care. He cares about watching other things happen. He cares about watching other things happen. He cares about, figuring out how many threesomes he's planning on having the next weekend or so. Because his girlfriend's not doing it for him. Bill Belichick, who's been such a puss and an angry bastard since his girlfriend dumped him. You know why his girlfriend dumped him? Here's why. Because she saw the real Bill Belichick. And you want to know what happened to the real Bill Belichick in that relationship? He got dumped. It broke the man. Not using that as an excuse, but the reality of it is at this point is that, did Bill have an idea when he created this roster this was going to happen? This team was going to be a crap bag here? I know the first 2 weeks were promising, but let's be realistic here. Your real signature win came against a banged-up, washed-up Bills defense and a Jet defense that should have never allowed Pharaoh Brown to go 58 yards. That's it. Those are your 2 wins all year within your own division. By the way, you're 2-2 in your division. 2-2. And both losses came to Miami Dolphins. A team that's way ahead of right now Buffalo and New York and New England on so many levels. They're in a totally different tier than the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots. I'm just saying. They're on a totally different level. No one is catching that team, period. You mean to tell me right now at this point that you thought that'd be you? You thought with Devontae Parker, who has not been even good in all the years he's been in the NFL. He's been in the NFL for 7 years. Or actually, I'm sorry, 5 years. I'm actually wrong on a year number. I'm sorry. It seems like 7 years because the guy sucks that badly. You think he was good? How about Tyquan Thornton, who can't run the right route, or Demario Douglas, who runs the wrong route every freaking week? Mike Gesicki, who can never get open. He doesn't even try anymore. Hunter Henry just goes through the motions. This team has checked out. The coach checked out weeks before this. And Germany was their Super Bowl? That was their Super Bowl? And Chad Ryland, don't get me started on this guy. 12 for 18 in field goals. He's 14 for 14 for extra points. He's like 1-3 when it's 50 yards or plus. He had a chance to tie the game up with 35-yard field goal. And I called this right before they called a timeout. And Chad Ryan was going to miss this because he misses every freaking short distance kick he could get. He misses it. Wide left all the time. What happened here? Shanked it. Wide left. Great hold. Great snap. Chad Ryland should be cut. You trade away Nick Folk, who was an aging kicker, and you thought, I can find the next Nick Folk. Oh, you did. You found one, huh? Found a really good one. Good job. Good job. That kicker blows. He absolutely freaking blows. This guy sucks. And I'm trying to figure out when he made a 50-yard field goal. It might have been that game against the Jets, by the way. Just FYI. He missed one. That was from 48. He made a 51-yard field goal. That's the only 50-yard plus field goal he's ever made in his career so far. And that's the only one ever going to attempt ever again. You want to know something about this freaking team? They are the worst team in the NFL right now. I don't care what the Panthers record really is. They're 1-10. You want to know something right now? I bet the 1-10 Panthers could beat this Patriot team. I bet they could. This freaking team is a complete dumpster fire. They lost to Tommy freaking DeVito, who went 17 for 31 for 166 yards and a touchdown. That's it. They lost 10-7. Garbage. That was by far the worst football game in the entire year. That was almost worse than the Jet game. Actually, you want to know what was entertaining about the Jet game in the end? Clutch football from Zach Wilson, leading that team down, for a game-time field goal, forcing overtime, and getting a game-winning field goal in the end. That was entertaining. And you had a chance, by the way, to actually go for the touchdown there. Why didn't you pull the trigger there? I'm just curious. Were you afraid Zach was going to throw an interception late in the game? Could you not trust Zappy in the red zone? You brought in Juju Smith-Schuster, by the way, as your number one wide receiver. The guy can't stay on the football field. He's got a bad knee, and he has more penalties this year than anybody else on that roster who's a wide receiver. Great job. The guy has been known to be a penalized wide receiver too, by the way. He was not always like that in Kansas City, but was like that in Pittsburgh. Which, by the way, you're facing that team in about a week and a half or so. Just wanted to mention that you're facing them in 9 days. And before that, you're home against the LA Chargers this weekend, which I give you no chance to beating that Charger team. I give you no chance. I don't care how bad the Chargers are. And they suck. But I give you no hope. J.C. Jackson's complete garbage. Does not want to be in New England. Nobody on that roster wants to be playing for Bill Belichick. They don't want to play for the guy. In order for this team to win another game this year, Bill Belichick would have to go. And honestly, at this point, if he go coaches somewhere else and wins a championship there and retires out in Los Angeles, he's not getting the statue in New England. I'm sorry. He'll get in the Patriots Hall of Fame. He'll get in the NFL Hall of Fame. But you want to know something? He will never get a statue in New England. It's preposterous. It's stupid. And honestly, I wouldn't even give one to Brady at this point either. Sorry. I know he won his 6 Super Bowls, but you want to know something at this point in time? He won another one in Tampa Bay in his first season going there. And really, if you think about it, really, he went out the wrong tunnel. That wasn't a retirement goodbye. That was, I'm leaving New England, peace out, goodbye. Okay? So, you know what Bill needs to do? What Bill needs to do in the last game of the year, January 7th, when they play against the Jets, go out the tunnel that Brady went out when he said goodbye, and see if you get the actual response that you would get here. See if you actually get like a wave goodbye from anybody. They're gonna be going na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. That's what they'll be doing. They want you gone. They don't want you around. Do you understand that? There might be some people that might actually still like you around, Bill, but you want to know something? You have a completely crap roster. You're losing more people than when Trump did in that January 6th that day with all that bull crap. You're losing more people than Donald Trump did. You know how sad that sounds? And I don't even mean to make that comparison, but it's kind of true. Who in their right minds believes in Bill Belichick at this point? And I think he's just, I don't even think even the fact he's doing it by accident here. It's the fact that this team is so freaking bad that Bill Belichick doesn't care about fixing it. He's saying, it's Robert Kraft's problem. It's Matt Groh's problem. It's Bill O'Brien's fault. He's not going to fix anything anymore. He doesn't care. He's putting Mac Jones in there to make Robert Kraft look bad because he knows that's Robert Kraft's boy and never Bill's boy. It was never Bill's boy to begin with. Period. Ever since that late year in 2021, where he lost 3 straight games, including that, and actually 4 if you want to count the playoff game, when he lost by 30. And you might as well count that one. That's 4 straight losses that you had in the month of December. This team is entering the month of December never winning a game in December. Think about that for a minute. Well, they beat the Dolphins last year. That's fine. You beat the Dolphins. Whoop-de-doo. Without Tua last year. That was your only win in December. And all the games in December, by the way, that you have done played, from December to January, your team is 1. I believe they're 1 and let's see, you're 0-4 in that first year. Second year, you won 1, but you lost 3 or 4. Between December and January, there, you're 1-7. You're 1-7. Bill Belichick at this point has completely checked out and does not care. The Patriot way is only good when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are participating at the same time and not at odds with each other. Here, Bill's at odds with not just himself, but with Robert Kraft. This man is tarnishing his legacy, and Robert Kraft is overlooking that fact because he knows deep down in his heart of heart what he's always thought. I gave Bill that legacy. Because I could have done that with Bill Parcells. I could have done it with Pete Carroll. That's his mindset. And Tom Brady won all the rings anyway. So go F yourself. This is your roster. You're going to finish out the year. I'm not going to fire you midway through the year. At this point now, Bill's daring him to do it. And honestly, at this point, from the Patriots, I would do it too. Bye. You wasted my time enough. That's exactly what you did. Anyway, so that was a long rant. I think I would go over an hour here. Thank you all so much for watching the show. Again, I much appreciate it. You know my social media. It's Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I will post this later on today. Probably after I get done with the recording here. Thank you all so much. Again, much appreciated. And I will see you all again. This is what the plan for this week's going to be. Because it's only going to be a 3-day this week. What I'll do here is this. I'm not going to review. I'm going to probably review the Celtic game from Tuesday night for Thursday. The Bruin game's not going to come on again until Thursday anyway. They're playing San Jose, right? So what I'll do is this. I will review the show on Thursday from, let's see, I'm probably going to do it when I get home from work. So I'll review Thursday and I'll review Friday. There will be no show Saturday. There was supposed to be a show this past Saturday, but, I had computer issues. I'm not doing a CBS Sports thing, share the screen thing anymore because every time I do, the screen lags for whatever reason. And the thing just never works properly anyway. And when I got disconnected from that thing last Friday, I was pissed. Or last Thursday, I should say. I was really pissed off. What I'll do I might as well, I'll give you my Thursday night football predictions. It is the Seahawks and the Cowboys that Thursday night on Amazon Prime. I'll give you my predictions for that game on Thursday. For Friday, I will give you all the championship predictions for the top 25. And I'll give you my predictions for the NFL on Sunday that Friday. So there you go. I'll review all the championship games. And here's what I'll do for the start of next week here. And I'll do it this week because I'll probably just do it that morning. I'll review all the college football championship games on Sunday morning. So there'll just be a college football review. And after that Monday, I will review all the NFL games in full that Monday afternoon. So there'll be like 2 episodes from Sunday, Monday. I'll do a show on what I'll probably do is do a watch along on that Monday. And I'll just review the games at the same time the other game is on and review that game too. And review that one. I won't be on that Tuesday. So it'll be Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday is what I'll do that week. And I'll post all these stories that came out this week in the NFL and my takes on the whole thing and write little articles about it to make up for the fact I'm not doing a 4-day show. Or I guess in this case here, I will be doing a 5-day show. So there'll be no show next week on Tuesday, but it'll be a show Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday of next week. That's how I'll do it next week here, unless I change my mind here. Realistically, I'll probably just end up doing a show late Saturday night as well. Probably that's what I'll probably end up doing. That's what I'll probably end up doing. That way, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, by the way, in case anybody didn't know, I don't think anybody really did in the show. In fact, it's kind of hard to tell right now at this point the way I'm doing this. But I do have a sty in my eye. I was in pain a little bit last night. I was in pain this morning. It's kind of like not swelling up, surprisingly. So that's a good thing. But otherwise, yeah, that's been my story here. I've been hungover here, and I got a sty in my eye. So it is what it is. But I will see you all again on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Watch some college basketball. I'll give you the scores for that as well sometime in the show on Thursday. I don't know yet. But I'll give you the stuff to review and all that crap. You know me. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.